Hello everyone. So the weather can turn a gardener's life upside down, and it certainly did that last year here in the UK. We had tremendously hot summer. Everywhere was parched. Even here in Cumbria we were touched with it a little bit, not as bad as the rest of the country. I know some people certainly down south suffered terribly with it. Then we had the big freeze in December. And this year started no differently, really. The start of the year we had really quite mild weather for what January should have been, to the point where I checked my potatoes the other day for seed potatoes, and the little green shoots are coming out of them already. Normally I wouldn't expect to see them until March. So that means, whereas normally I don't put my seed potatoes out into light to chit, normally maybe the second week in March, that's when I'm normally forced to do it. I'm going to have to put them out now, early February. It's one of those things, you just adapt. We're frosty today, which is normal, that's fine. But what the freeze did last year is it killed a lot of crops, and it killed a lot of crops for a lot of people, not just myself. So I'm going to make amends today and start sowing some stuff. And it's a bit of a trial and a bit of thought gone into it with things that I think will grow relatively quickly to fill what is now a hungry gap. For example, I've got this kale here. This has succumbed to cold. Kale doesn't normally succumb to cold. Lost all my broad beans that I planted in the autumn because they're only hardy down to about -10, and we suffered with -17 here in December. All my sprouting broccoli, that got hit. Normally that's a winter stalwart, shall we say, and that normally goes through quite well, and we'll get a crop of those sort of March, April, sometimes even into May. But it's a bonus in some ways as well, because I've now been able to clear a lot of beds much earlier in the year, which normally I'm sort of doing in March time. It means that's done now. A quick rake over or a hoe to any weeds that are coming through. But those beds over there, and I'll show you them in a minute, they're all clear of weeds, ready to be planted, which means in March I can now get on with something else. So it's just a case of reorganising when I do things. We have still got crops. I've got garlic growing over there. That's about all that's growing over there, garlic and elephant garlic. Still got some parsnips there, which have been surprising. They've been an incredible crop, probably my best crop ever. And I pulled up half a row yesterday, and I'll show you those again in a minute. And then I'm going to go off and sow some seeds as well, and we'll talk a bit more. So I've obviously been putting up the new tunnel recently, but managed the last couple of days just to get on these beds, get them sorted out. You can see they're all looking nice and tidy now. Just got to move that big box weed in there. Then this side's done. Over on this side, here's the parsnips and these clonking things. So we're not going to go short on things. I see a lot of soup in the horizon, and I'll make a base just parsnip soup, and then we can add things to it. I did comment yesterday to some of the people from the Potty Mouth crew about smoked haddock going well with parsnip, and it does. It's a blinding combination. Comes out a bit like a chowder. And I've still got more in to come out yet. There's another 3 rows, but otherwise these first 2 beds are now ready as well, which is great. Moving on up, a lot of this kale is going to be composted, and as I pull it out, I'll clear the ground. I've got some things like spring cabbage and cauliflowers in here. Probably going to pull all this and clear this bed as well. Normally I've got a tunnel over here where it'd be full of some sort of crops. Whether they'd have got through the cold, I don't know, but here's where we're at now with the tunnel. More work needed on that. And then we'll move into the big tunnel. Normally, all the way down this side at this time of the year is full of crops. It's not right now. Cold got just about everything. There's some spinach here. So again, we're not running short. And over here, Bit of a success. My little Chinese cabbage is doing all right. The rest are a bit meh, but that's something I can work with for next winter. And it's a right tip in here. Look at the state of this. But this is a wet day job. I'm working outside on the beds as much as I can until we get some wet days, and then you can see the state of it up here, all this cardboard. And this is a mess because I was composting in here, but yeah, it all wants sorting out. But again, wet day job, 2 days sorted in here, ready to go. I have got some green things going in here, some salad mixes and things growing. This is one we haven't even touched, but that's edible. Must take that home. And in here, at the start of December, just before the cold spell, I sowed these 4 trays. I put radish in here as a test. Some are now coming through, and this was a mix of brassica plants to grow for microgreens. They froze solid during the freeze. I thought, well, I've lost them. After it defrosted, sort of towards Christmas, they started to germinate. So that's again something else we can eat. Out the back here, we had some more sorts of spring cabbages and cauliflowers in this bed. Most of them have been killed off by the cold, and the little cane structure over there was where I had the broad beans, also killed off by the cold. But mostly, apart from Rebecca in that middle bed where the stalks are, these beds are clear for spring, which is brilliant. So in this tunnel at the back, we've got some komatsuna here. This is mustard green, a few pak choy. Not sure whether we'll eat those or not. We'll have a look at them. And then of course we've got the carrot clamp. You can see one on top there that I've missed, but there's plenty in there, and that goes 6 inches into the ground, so there's tons of carrots still in there to eat. So we're not running short of food. But this bed over here is roughly prepared. I'm just going to run a rake through this now, get it down to a nice fine tilth, and I'm going to sow some seeds in here, which hopefully, all being well, the produce from we'll be able to eat in sort of April, May time. Give us a little bit of cover on the hungry gap. We've also got stuff in storage at home as well in the freezer, so we're not exactly short of veg at the moment, thankfully. So I've got a few different seeds to sow here, and I'm basing on these on actually eating the immature plants as opposed to waiting for a full harvest to come along. So on that basis, this one is a beetroot, and all this is either old seed or seed that I've been given or came free with magazines. I mean, I stopped buying magazines about 2 or 3 years ago now, so a lot of these seeds are old, or as I say, people do give me their free seeds off the magazines. They think that nutter will sow them, and they're right, that will. But these will come up as greens. These are, I say, beetroot, Crosby's Egyptian, and we'll hopefully get a crop from them. And when you've got nothing else, it's all very welcome. Now another one which might be quite surprising to many is radish. Again, if they don't bulb, if we don't get an actual radish bulb, you can eat the leaves. So you're getting some nutrition from growing something that ordinarily, like these, I'd probably throw them away or pass them on to somebody else, whatever. But as a food crop, it's great. And you shouldn't really underestimate radish as a food crop. If these bulb, you can cut them in half, saute them, throw the greens in at the last second, and you've got a delicious snack or a side dish. You can even eat them on toast. Absolutely fabulous. So I'm just covering my back, really, just trying to grow a few other things with just a handful of seeds, a little bit of raking to rake the soil down. and to see what can happen. It's also a bit of an experiment as well, which you all know of me, I love to do. And basically, if you don't sow, you can't grow. So give it a go. There we go, that's those 3 done. So I have a few more bits to sow here, and I'm just spacing these rows out at about 6 or 7 inches apart. What's this next one up? This is, no, I'll do that last, give it a bit more space, just in case. This one is an onion, a spring onion called ramrod, and it's one I've never grown before, so I don't know anything about it, but nonetheless, we'll see how these come out. And I am going very heavily with the seeds, putting a lot in, just in case of poor germination. And that's another one sown. So I mean, it's quick to do, easy. Didn't take me long to rake this soil, 5 minutes. So that was worth doing. And this one is an American landcress. I like this stuff. And again, quite heavy on the sowing. Cover them up. And then this last one is a turnip called Snowball. These can grow quite large, but hopefully I'll be eating them small. And even if I just get the greens and no bulbs, so you're getting the useful nutrients, vitamins, minerals from them. This one's being awkward. Anyway, I'll sow that one. Oh well, it wouldn't be me if I didn't try and sow another mix of salad leaves. Another tray. That's it, that's that packet gone. So I'll just mix those up and then just water them in, and we'll get what we get from it. But all of this is just an attempt to get some leaves, because we've got some roots, we've got some spinach, there's a few bits and bobs, but hopefully this will just plug some of the hungry gap through this bleak winter that we've been going through. So normally all of this is full of greenery in here, so we're suffering on greenery. So it's all a punt today, all of it is a punt, we'll see. So all of this seed sowing I've done today, a few varieties, a couple of rows of turnips and radish and beetroots and spring onions, and the salad mix here is all a bit of a punt really. It's just an attempt. If the weather's good, if the weather's nice, you know, we're in frost in a minute, but if it turns nice for a month, I'm going to get leaves and we'll have something to eat. If it stays horrible, I won't. But if you don't actually put the seeds in, you'll never know. So if you've got some spare seeds, some old seed maybe, or some old packet seeds that you wouldn't normally sow, just stick them in some ground and see what happens, and maybe you'll get something from it. The weather's changed everything for me here this winter, so I'm just trying my best to adapt to it and trying to do something else, and to run a little trial at the same time. I mean, if it works, I'll know I could try it again next year. Try it in a different way next year, or try it at different times. So, but this is how you build on your experience. But that's it for today. Look after yourselves, everyone, stay safe, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Ta-ra now.